Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us for yet another session of the DiLX webinar series. And the topic for today's webinar is shifting value pools in the logistics and supply chain industry. My name is Kapil Mathur, and I head the practice here at DiLX. And along with me is Mr. Pavan Agrawal, who heads the practice of Alvarium, which is a design-led methodology, and we would shed light on that in detail later in the session. Also along with us is Akansha, who is our senior supply chain professional, and would be assisting us with this webinar today. Now, we all know that digitalization is reshaping the logistics industry. There are hundreds of solutions out there in the market that promise to make supply chains more efficient, automated, and fast-paced. And keeping this in mind, we have fashioned today's webinar to include first the latest market trends, some market dynamics, the value pools that currently exist in supply chains, and essentially the parameters against which supply chain excellence is measured. Second, we would look at how digital transformation is improving the logistics ecosystem value and how it's adding overall value to supply chains. Third, how adopting these digitalization initiatives has brought about varied success for different companies in different industries, and how best to ensure sustainable growth in supply chains. And towards the end, we would attempt to look at the most optimal ways to start on this digital journey. Great. So all that said, I would now hand it over to my colleague, Akansha, who would walk you through the webinar in detail.
Thanks, Kapil, for giving me an opportunity to provide insights on the most important facet of the supply chain industry. Good morning, all. Now let us explore about which value pools are constantly changing. First and foremost is the economical measures. As we all know that data has changed the world recently, and rightly said, data is money. Thus, the changing set of data-driven economy, shipping, and tariff cost disrupting, which brought business value margins to a lot of imbalance. Collaborative business network is immensely necessary in this ecosystem. With race against time, we need automated decision making, setting effective operational efficiency, and real-time integrating with other party systems. All this leads to change in value pools for better decisions. The impressive customer touch is getting faded as customers are having dynamic demand mindset. These demands conflict with the fragmented ecosystem. Whether every party would agree to accept the change, and even after accepting, would they willingly reinvent their business model? The shipping process dated back was just event tracking and through calls or SMS. But with increase in technology and customer demand, it has now become priority and compulsion to give full visibility to the customers for business growth. VAS, also known as value-added services, at one point in time used to be just for the players who would take an extra, not needed services just to brand themselves. But nowadays, it's becoming a necessity as vast services have changed the way the landscape of supply chain look. With VAS, the industry has experienced customer retention and also increase in promoters. For growing IT landscape, we have shifted to cloud computing and hack-proof data security. When it's cloud computing, we have started sharing data to third-party web service providers, which shows that we have built trust over data security. So these are the major value pools which are being affected due to digitization. Without digitization, we would have been using the same old traditional methodologies, showing no advancement till now or for the coming years. Now let's shed some light on the industry players who have adopted and achieved few predictions and are already reaping benefits of digitization. SOS decarbonization is not just a word, but it embeds whole meaning that there is not much time when all the companies would face compliance of imposing stricter regulations for emitting CO2. Most organizations are very pressed to inculcate carbon footprint reduction strategies into their operations. Some of the motivating factors include intensification of regulation, corporate image damages, evolving environmental criteria as the basis for competitiveness. Green or carbon efficient supply chain management has been defined as the integrated environmental strategies directed at the supply chain management, which include product design, material sourcing and selection, manufacturing processes, delivery of the final product to the consumers, and well to wheel product management with detailed understanding of industrial symbiosis. It is generally perceived that carbon efficient supply chain promotes efficiency and synergy among business partners and their lead corporations. This helps to enhance environmental performance, minimize waste, and save cost. Maersk has achieved a 41% relative reduction in CO2 emissions from its activity compared to 2008, now aiming for a 60% reduction relative to the cargo moved by 2030. It has been aligned with the International Maritime Organization strategies for greenhouse gas reductions in shipping. The next is collaborative business ecosystem. Why collaborative business ecosystem are key to supply chain business disruption is because if one player needs a helping hand, another is always ready, as the ecosystem is immensely interconnected. Having helped transform the operating and the performance models of major enterprises over the last few decades, many supply chains are now playing an even more central strategic role. They are helping lead their businesses into a dynamic, hyper-connected, and collaborative world of ecosystems. In doing so, many of now are creating and leading more complex systems, perhaps better characterized as value webs. The word chain has a powerful metaphoric logic that captures well a series of discrete links by which goods are bought, have value add to them, then are sold to the next value adder up until an end buyer consumes them. This remains of critical importance. However, increasingly, value is being created not only within firms but in the rich interactions between them. Linear sequences of procurement are increasingly supplemented by more iterative and innovation oriented collaborations. Global Shipping Business Network (GSBN) on one side is taking help from shareholders of shipping line giants like CMA CGM, COSCO Shipping Line, Hapag-Lloyd, Hutchinson Ports, OOCL, Port of Qingdao, PSA International, and Shanghai International Port Group, and arranging consortium which will then form a platform to improve transparency and efficiency for cross-network operations. Moving on to the next, which is continuously evolving customer experience. We have reached to Industry 4.0, and this industry from 1.0 to 4.0 has been about the end customer demand and supply. But now it is completely customer centric, as we are not branding these days what we want to sell, but are branding what they already are in need of. Automated customer service systems, also called as virtual agents. These agents are software programs designed to help customers answer questions, perform basic tasks, or solve problems without talking to an actual person. We have all used them, and in many cases, they work out great. By answering a few questions from a computer with a friendly voice, you can pay your bill, order a new service, reset your password, process a return, or complete dozens of other tasks without having to hold for the next available representative. Robots are clearly starting to change how the customers and employees interact with the products. Retailers are using robots in a supply chain, in stores, and in customer interaction. Walmart is adding 1,500 robots to hundreds of stores across the country to help with tasks like cleaning and stocking shelves, scanning inventory, and even interacting with customers. The customer transcends the traditional profit and cost center paradigm occupying the central role in growth strategies, productivity gains, advocacy, and organizational or brand reputation. The next example has changed the way supply chain was working. End-to-end supply chain visibility with the advanced analytics. Just not the visibility for those segments where end customers come in. Now the supply chain has entangled itself in such a way that the mid customers, as in manufacturer, vendor, everyone wants visibility on its goods. Thus, the whole chain has to be transparent and anyone can keep a tab over the whereabouts of its goods. In a nutshell, end-to-end supply chain visibility provides ample amount of benefits, from which few are the ability to access vital information instantly, enhanced process efficiency in terms of end-to-end business processes, customer demands addressed through real-time visibility, transparency and ability to view blind spots, optimized logistics and transportation efficiency, improved responsiveness to customers, more efficient handling and execution, reduced labor and material costs, efficient stock management, and improved business metric monitoring and outcomes. FedEx offers a comprehensive logistics solution to save businesses time and money by connecting purchase orders, supplier, and transportation management. The global order logistics solution integrates people, processes, and technology of FedEx trade networks to allow for the vital elements of the international supply chain to be aligned. How can we not include the most important aspect of digitization, which is secure and connected system? When we hear secured and connected systems, we know it's going to be IoT. With IoT, huge tech companies have implemented different research to harden the IoT connected supply chain. Cybersecurity strategies need to move beyond a single enterprise digital infrastructure and encompass all the players within the value chain. In other words, it's time to stop thinking like hackers and start bringing the risk based end to end perspective of supply chain professionals to the resistance. To securely connect, collect, and start processing data quickly and easily, IBM has engineered with experts a platform named Watson IoT. It's built on the high standards of security internally and has been audited by third-party firm to ensure compliance specifically with ISO 27001. The platform extends the highest grade of security to applications that fully leverage its features. This makes clear that with invent of IoT systems, industry has been more connected and highly secure. The last one seems to be emerging trend amongst all parties, exploring revenue growth stream. Expanding your wings to generate cash cow is very usual. There are three horizons for revenue growth any company would follow. The first horizon is about existing business. A focus on innovation will sustain the business as usual. Obviously, however, situations change over time and innovations considered desirable right now may become obsolete on the basis of future challenges. The second horizon is about a company in transition. This framework focuses on either disruptions or transformations of the first horizon. Depending on the circumstances, the effect could be neutral, positive, or degenerative. The introduction of innovation begins to replace the usual aspects of business. Disruptive innovations, however, will be absorbed without a significant change to the first horizon. The return on the second horizon innovations considered fairly reliable because many of these endeavors are based on existing and already successful business models. The third horizon and the last one is about a new business emerge. The focus is entirely on the introduction of new ideas that don't exist in business today. Such innovations are labeled as risky and are often unprofitable. The third horizon typically focuses on research, pilot programs, and even brand new revenue lines. Seva Logistics has further expanded its e-commerce services within UK, Turkey, USA, Canada, and Brazil in a quick period of time. Seva's unique global footprint, as well as the ability to provide warehousing, global transport, and freight forwarding solutions for B2B and B2C supply chains, sets a sound basis for global services in omni-channel, e-fulfillment, and cross-border e-commerce. Impressive the way these companies have come forward to experiment with technology innovation and set benchmark for the industry. Not only the companies, but the end customers have also leveraged digitization in numerous ways. It was easy to know, but hard to achieve success with digitization. There are many challenges that these companies have also faced while transforming their certain course of action, which we'll see in our next slide. The problem with the first value pool, that is compliance with the sustainability, is that once the compliances are into action, they have to be implemented, and thus now the competitiveness and profits also change. Hence, they fear that whether their chain will sustain or not. Operationalizing sustainable development with keeping clear focus on financial aspects of business at center, the evolving complex operational models would create a fear of change which contribute the inertia to compass sustainable supply chain. Now with the collaboration, as the company size, project costs, time investments, difficulty and information sensitivity all increase, so does the risk of a collaboration effort. The business objectives and priorities of multi parties in a supply chain are frequently out of alignment and sometimes even in direct conflict. It's complex to study customers as customer experience is evolving every now and then. There has been lately ample amount of channels where customer presence is felt. Now, if a customer before buying a car looks into the website, on the other social media, and for look and feel goes to the dealer. If the same car is not available in the dealer shop, customer would think about giving a second thought. Thus, it's necessary to be on toes to make our presence feel everywhere equally. Reverse process engineering is necessary for end-to-end digital maturity assessment to gain in-depth knowledge of customer behavior and expectations. Isn't it obvious when customers need full visibility power, there is going to be some challenge to achieve it? Managing intercompany, interdepartment data systems of the organization in silo and to change their traditional hierarchical structured environment is a huge challenge. And with that, it's not an easy task to make data work for you in terms of gaining insights for analyzing future trends. The next challenge is about the adapting to the new technology where secure and connected systems come into existence. Driving parties should have belief and willingness to learn right amount of skills required to change the business dynamics. Also, once they are ready to adapt new technology, players have their own concerns of transitioning and backup solutions if new technology didn't work well. Explore revenue growth streams is nice to hear when companies multifaceted, but companies put heavy investments in new business arms or channels. Despite having pressing issues to achieve complex targets in their single sector. For exploring new markets, do you really have SMEs who can make you aware on the outcomes or guide you while achieving profits, or are you just blindly following the market trends? Challenges to cope up with the traditional business operations and adopting several shifts along with the capital risk is a big step towards the digitalization. We can totally understand how concerning it can be for all the value chain partners in the supply chain ecosystem. Moving on to the next slide is about the digitalization that has proven the business impact in each facet of the supply chain ecosystem, even after considering the huge risk and investments. The manufacturer has to keep in mind the uncertain demands and with that maintain the timely need of the resources for every season depending on the demand. For procurement, most important is to be updated with market growth and innovation, and with that, maintaining the RFX process. Digitization has proved to be a helping hand in recruiting, retaining, and retraining the resources. For the carrier and freight forwarder, we know how important it is to use the tools that can help in tracking and tracing products, maintain best tariff margins, keeping the environmental effects in mind. Who doesn't have an idea of walking robots in the warehouse and increasing productivity immensely as they can work 24/7 and handle goods in a better way? In the end, the customers have switched to the digital world for referring to the products before they buy or paste their reviews on company brand and make them aware. This is a turning point in supply chain ecosystem, proving that the customer was, is, and will always remain the king of supply and demand process. Now we have Pavan here to explain what is needed to achieve the true outcome of digitalization through Alvarium. Over to you, Pavan.
Thanks, Akansha, for sharing the insights on where logistics industry is heading to in terms of digitalization. Hello everyone, I am Pavan Agrawal, a design-led digital transformation process evangelist. In this part of webinar, I will let you know why our digitalization efforts are not giving desired dividends and what should be our approach to embark digital transformation or digital acceleration journey. We have seen in the previous part of the webinar that how digitalization is essential and instrumental in reshaping the logistics industry, and we have also seen that how digitalization has been helping capture benefits from the shift in the value pools. Let me ask you one question. Is your digital portfolio an asset or a liability for you? Many surveys from renowned research agencies show that success from digital transformation initiatives is elusive because most of the digitalization efforts are ad hoc and limited to address an issue or problem in hand, or we can say that these efforts are limited to address problems in silo within an organization function. Consequently, most of the digital transformation projects have not been able to improve companies' performance or have not been able to deliver viable value. Creating a robust digital roadmap is a complex process. A digital roadmap outlines the goals which an organization tries to achieve through technology, and it also outlines the digital initiatives to be carried out in various business functions such as planning, operations, distribution, workforce, customer, etc. Digital strategy could be segregated into digital customer, digital enterprise, and digital business strategies, considering the utility and objectives to be achieved through digitalization. Digital strategy must be aligned and cohesively linked with the business strategy, data strategy, and technology strategy. Digital strategy must cooperate business policy and must be flexible enough so that it can be realigned or fine-tuned considering dynamic business environment or dynamic business situations or dynamic business scenarios. What is business strategy and how digitalization fits into it? Business strategy is a set of actions that businesses take considering their strengths, weaknesses, and competitive position. Business strategy defines organizations' goals and aspirations and defines various strategic, tactical, and operational levers to achieve the business goals. Digitalization is one of the levers to achieve the business objectives. To form the right digitalization path, one needs to find the business IT alignment gap. This is which IT initiatives deviate from business requirements, and how could this gap be narrowed down over time through digital initiatives, be it developing new digital applications or enhancing existing digital applications or digital applications portfolio rationalization or forward integrations. The path to achieve business goals is illuminated with powerful data strategy. Data strategy helps set business priorities through deeper and richer customer insights and helps set business priorities through cause and effect relationships across the value chain. be it relationships across manufacturing, transportation, distribution, sales, customer support, etc. Data strategy should be the foundation for digital initiatives and should provide directions to decide which products or services could lead to improved business performance and give sustainable returns through digitalization. Before moving to the next topic of this webinar, let me summarize why organizations are not able to get the true outcome of digitalization and what is needed. While forming digital strategy roadmap, what is often a time overlooked is a holistic view of the business ecosystem. And what is overlooked is the alignment of business vision and vision for digitalization. Consequently, it results in fragmented and ad hoc digital initiatives, which soon become digital liabilities for the organizations instead of digital assets, and make future transformation programs more difficult and costly. So, to get the true outcome of digitalization, organizations should contemplate cohesiveness among business landscape, technology landscape, and data landscape. And also, organizations should decide what is the right extent and speed of digitalization for their organization basis their strengths and weaknesses. And businesses should contemplate long-term business returns from digital capital created through various digital initiatives. Now let us understand what should be our approach to start the digital transformation or digital acceleration journey, which eventually is successful and provides desired results. As we have been discussing, digital transformation roadmap should always be derived considering a holistic view of the business ecosystem and considering the alignment of business vision and vision for digitalization. Holistic view is realized through a collaborative approach. In such an approach, relevant and interdependent stakeholders from an organization and stakeholders across value chain, end users of the digital products, industry thought leaders, and digital transformation change agents share the knowledge, brainstorm, and generate ideas through structured design-led approach enabled with appropriate tools and frameworks. In summary, perfect combination of inside out, outside in, and user aspirations is what helps derive a long-term strategic outcome-based digital transformation or digital acceleration roadmap. We have understood that a collaborative design-led approach is essential for successful digital transformation programs. Let us understand this approach in more detail. Identifying business levers and KPIs which could be improved through digitalization, challenges and problems discovery, causal analysis, solution mind mapping, expectations and priority mapping are some of the activities which are crucial for deriving a digital transformation roadmap. Alvarium. It is a collaborative design-led approach which enables organizations innovate and transform. In multi-phase Alvarium approach, organizations identify digital initiatives mapped to business levers, envisage digital solutions, prioritize stakeholders' expectations, and outline digital projects and timelines. In design-led innovation, digital initiatives leading to product innovation or service innovation are prioritized through ideation and business case assessment during the business landscape discovery and digital landscape discovery phases. Transition roadmap is envisioned in design-led transformation phase, where requirements elicitation and prioritization is done, and a time-boxed and robust implementation plan for product and service innovation is envisioned. Alvarium is centered around 6 pillars. Multiple and relevant stakeholders' active involvement from the beginning of Alvarium makes organization change management easier. Considering not only customer experience but partners and employees' experience also helps bring holistic ecosystem experience. Data and facts-based decision help improve the effectiveness and sustainability of digital transformation initiatives. Design thinking-led approach helps quick assessment of the business case through rapid prototyping. Inter and intra-organization collaboration helps improve business sustainability in today's global and shared economy. Business centricity sets right direction to get returns on the investments on the digital initiatives. To summarize, Alvarium, with a combination of industry experts, cross-vertical innovations, cross-pollination of global talent and best practices, and learnings accumulated over the years helps organizations avoid ad hoc digital initiatives and helps organizations plan the right extent and speed of digitalization by taking a collaborative and holistic approach. Reach out to us on sales@DiLX.co and let us take a collaborative design-led approach to embark you on a successful digital acceleration journey.